What's up, guys? Welcome to At Home Fitness with Coach A. I am Coach A, and this is the YouTube channel that aims to bring you guys at home in gym quality coaching and workouts for your at home or garage gym needs. Now, today is day number 277 of our At Home Fitness programming series, coming to you live here from Cleveland. Well, probably not live. You guys are probably going to see this after I process everything into a video, after it's been posted on YouTube for a little bit at least, maybe a couple minutes. So let's call it a minor tape delay. It's more of an ESPN kind of thing. All right. Here's what we're looking at today. We got something a little different for you guys. I want to work on a skill that is obviously also a strength component. That'll make a lot of sense in a second. But I want to work on it from the perspective of improving athleticism and improving control, balance, agility, explosiveness, all those things. Without further ado, this is what I'm talking about. So the skill is going to be a single leg jump. And I'll demonstrate that in a second. I don't care if it's a jump onto a plate, a jump onto a box, a jump in place, or if you're coming down into a landing and not really taking off all that much. But the idea here is we're working on our balance, we're working on our single leg explosiveness. We're taking the principles that we take from a lot of things like squats, using bilateral movements, putting a bar on our back, doing a back squat. The way we translate that into single leg work on like a Bulgarian split squat or deadlifts with the RDL, the single leg stuff we've been working on recently. I want to take that, I want to translate that into more of an athletic movement, get you guys some work on something that be careful with when you're doing it. Obviously, from the standpoint, if you fall on one leg, you're just going to smash yourself on the box going down. But more so from the standpoint of we don't always realize how fatigued we are in the moment doing single leg or unilateral work until it's quote unquote too late. So even if this doesn't seem very difficult, taxing on you guys, take your time, work through the movements. It says about 5 to 10 minutes, so take 10, take 15 if you guys want to take 15. It doesn't matter, but get some good single leg work in. If you notice there's an imbalance left to right, right to left, let's spend a little bit more time trying to work on that weaker side and trying to develop a little bit more of that awkward side athleticism. Now, once we finish that, we're going to get into the workout, which is going to be 8 rounds of 10 deadlifts. This is programmed with a barbell, guys, but really it can be done with whatever you want it to be done with, and increasing weight scheme on those deadlifts, and 30 seconds of max pull-ups. Pull-ups can be kipping or strict. I'll leave that up to you guys. You can pick what you want. Just one you pick, stick. So stay with it the whole way through. So something a little interesting here. And what I mean by that is we have a rep and we have a time, not something we always do or even something even in CrossFit you see all that often. Here's how I want you guys to approach this. We have 8 rounds of deadlifts. They're going to be 10 reps, meaning your 8th and heaviest round is going to be 10 reps. I want you guys to be able to increase the weight as you go, as opposed to getting it to a heavy set of 10 right away, and then maybe only adding about 20 pounds to get to that top end because you think you want to get more out of those previous early sets. Add weight every single time. I don't care if it takes extra time. If it adds 30 seconds to your time because you're going to keep 2 scores, time and total pull-ups, keep adding weight, quality work. This is a lot of posterior chain work. Don't underestimate how much the pull-ups are going to wear out the deadlifts. All right, guys, so let's talk about the single leg jumping that we're going to be doing today. The big thing I want you focusing on here is the ability to control, stabilize, balance, control the positions of your takeoff and of your landing. So we're working on getting triple extension on all our takeoffs, ankles extend, knees extend, hips extend, right? Think of it as pushing down into the ground with the balls of your feet and creating full tension on the backside of your legs and hips all the way up to flexing the glutes, which, if it seems like it watching that just now, should be very similar to what you're processing on a barbell snatch, heavy snatch, light snatch, dumbbell snatch, anything along those lines. Kettlebell swing, feet probably stay down a little bit more in the kettlebell swing, but you guys get the idea. So triple extension on the takeoff, absorb the landing with the whole leg, foot, and hip. All right, so I'm going to demonstrate on a low plate. This is a 45, so it's about 3 inches or so. I don't care if you guys are jumping an inch. I don't care if you guys are jumping 2 feet on a 24-inch box. The ideas are the same. The focus is the same. I set myself on one leg. I'm gonna pick the other leg up. I'm gonna give you guys a different view here. I'm gonna pick the other leg up. I don't care if it's out here, I don't care if it's here, I don't care if it gets thrown through with you, as long as you're not utilizing it to push off the ground and assist that single side, okay? So I personally like to get in a rhythm on this stuff to make it as close to normal as possible. So you're gonna see me rock my hands back, rock my hips back, bend my knee and jump through. And then try and land as softly and securely as possible. All right, it's gonna feel a little awkward. You're probably gonna end up on the landing, leaning over that foot a little bit. That's better than landing and just immediately collapsing down, so don't stress about that too much. Focus on having some tension in your glute on landing, having a nice flat foot, a little bracing in the core, so the hips and the torso absorb some of that force, all right? Again, if you don't feel comfortable or just can't seem to do it well enough to jump up onto something, here's what I want you to do. I want you to practice on coming down from something, all right? So the primary goal is to drop and catch. Drop and catch on that leg and hip. So we're almost going at this backwards. You're absorbing the force first, you're practicing that, you're working on that, and then you're gonna step away from what you were jumping on or what you would have jumped on, and you're just gonna jump in place but land on 2 feet. All right, so we're trying to remove as much of the fear from the equation as possible so you guys can really work that single leg for what we're gonna be working on here, which is the explosiveness, the takeoff, and the landing. All right, guys, workout time. All posterior chain all day today. So we're going to start off with a set of 10 deadlifts. This should be at the lightest weight we're going to use through the entirety of the workout. Obviously, early on, this should be unbroken. This should not be a significant weight. As you guys get further into this, the fatigue increases and the weight increases, however, then we shouldn't necessarily be at weights that we're doing unbroken every time. Now, finish the weight. It is up to you whether or not you want to change the weight here or after the pull-ups. We go into our 30 seconds of pull-ups. Here I'm demonstrating singles on strict pull-ups. Basically, we're looking at whatever you guys want to do here. Sets, singles, kipping sets, kipping singles. However you need to sustain it in order to be able to accumulate the most pull-ups possible over the course of the 8 rounds. Again, it's going to be 4 total minutes of pull-ups, so that's going to be significant. So put the weight on the bar here, hypothetically speaking, adding it on. Now, if we don't have weight to add onto the bar, this is what a tempo deadlift might look like. Normal up, 1, 2, 3. Normal up, 1, 2, 3. And normal up, 1, 2, 3. Stay tuned for movement modifications. All right, let's talk modifications for the workout. We talked about pretty much everything we're gonna do in terms of the skill, the strength work there with the single leg stuff. On the deadlifts, let's go through a couple of different paths here. So let's say you guys have a barbell, you have weights, but you don't have a lot of weights. So you can't really make a lot of jumps and a lot of adds per round for 8 rounds. I want you to make as many jumps as you can, and I want you to try and fill in those rounds with increasing tempo time, all right? So you're going through your deadlifts, you do, let's say the first round with 135, maybe you only have 185, 125. I'm gonna try and fill those gaps by hitting my concentric part of the deadlift, and then slowly 1, 2, down, 1, 1, 2, down. That next round might be 1, 1, 2, 3. I might even push that to a 1, 2, 3, 4 going down on that eccentric, right? But we're really trying to create more stress, more intensity in the lift, a little bit more work by lengthening out the time frame that we're holding through or moving through the eccentric part of the movement to give it that kind of feel of it got heavier, it got harder, and then I keep progressing my way through it from there. Now, on the pull-ups, I'm not worried about a high number, so I'm not necessarily looking for you guys to modify this or scale it based on what you're able to accomplish. If we don't have the right kind of equipment, however, then the main focus of the pull-ups is the lat work and the ability to have to hold yourself in a good position so that, positionally our spinal posture is kind of fatiguing back and forth a little bit. So that's something where we're gonna have to really work on with bracing. So as long as you guys are doing whatever you would normally do on a pull, instead of the pull-ups, you're probably gonna be in a good situation there in terms of getting out of it what I want you to get out of it. Now, going back to those deadlifts, if we don't have the equipment, we want to have it all. If we have dumbbells, we have kettlebells, if we have bands, the idea is going to be the same. If it's going to be really light, like you guys are looking at a band, and really the only options you have is RDLs with the band under your feet, or maybe even it seems like a deadlift like that, where you're strapping the band down, you're pushing through, or looping that band over your shoulders for a good morning, then work the tempo, but also don't be afraid to increase the reps per round. So you might start out with 10, you might go to 10 at tempo, then you might go to 12, you might go to 12 at tempo, and you might end up finishing this all with, 18 at tempo, okay? Same thing for other equipment. If we're looking at a kettlebell, tempo is your friend on this to make it harder, to make it more challenging. If you guys wanna build yourself to a single leg movement, I'm okay with that, especially if you have the ability to control that balance and have the energy left after all that jumping in the beginning.